The first sound was not thunder. It was crying. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just a weak, broken sound that should not have existed in a battlefield soaked with blood and fire. When the Alien Empress heard it, her descent from the sky slowed for the first time in centuries. Her war form hovered above the ruined valley, wings of energy spread wide, eyes burning with a rage that had erased civilizations. She had come to end another world. But that sound cut through her fury like a blade. Below her, amid shattered stone and scorched earth, a human boy knelt in the ash. His name was Kale. No one had called it in a long time. He was small for his age, ribs visible beneath torn clothes, skin pale from hunger rather than fear. His hands were bleeding, his knees raw from kneeling too long on broken rock. Yet he stayed there, whispering softly, rocking back and forth, as if trying to calm something far more fragile than himself. Curled around him were 3 dragon younglings. Their bodies were small, their wings torn and burned, their once glowing scales dulled to a sickly gray. Chains lay broken nearby, stained with blood. The younglings trembled, breaths shallow, eyes clouded with pain. They were not roaring monsters. They were dying children. Kale broke his last piece of bread in half. He hesitated, looking at it for a long moment. It was all he had stolen that day, all he would eat. Then he smiled faintly and held it out. Slowly, he whispered, "You'll choke if you rush." One of the younglings nudged his fingers, weak but trusting. High above, the Empress felt something tear open inside her chest. She was called many names across the galaxy. Devourer of suns, Queen of Ash, Mother of Dragons. But before all of that, before rage became her crown, she had been hunted too. Her species had been slaughtered by fearful worlds. Her hatchlings taken, dissected, cursed. Mercy had never saved her people. Only fire had. That belief had built her empire. Now she watched a human child feed her offspring with hands that shook from hunger, not fear. Kale had not always been this way. Once he had parents. A home near the river. Stories at night and laughter that felt endless. Then the kings declared war on the stars. Then the Empress came. Cities burned. Dragons fell from the sky, wounded and screaming. Soldiers dragged away anything they could capture. Kale's parents died shielding him from falling stone. After that, the world became smaller, quieter, crueler. People learned to survive by turning away, by pretending suffering was not theirs to fix. Kale tried that once. It felt worse than hunger. So when he saw the dragons being hunted, he hid instead of running. When he saw soldiers curse them, chain them, carve runes into their flesh to weaken them, something inside him refused to stay silent. When the soldiers fled during the night, leaving the younglings broken, Kale crawled from the rubble. They tried to bite him at first, weakly, desperately. "I know," he whispered through tears. "I'm scared too." He stayed. Days passed. He stole food meant for soldiers. He brought water from poisoned wells. He sang songs his mother used to sing, though his voice cracked from thirst. Each night, the dragons grew a little calmer. Each night, Kale grew weaker. The curse on the younglings burned through the bond they shared with their mother. Every breath they took sent agony through the Empress's soul. That pain fueled her rage, as it always had. She followed it here to end the world responsible. Her armies filled the sky. Human defenders trembled. Kings prepared surrender offerings they knew would be ignored. Then the Empress saw the boy collapse. Kale's legs finally gave out. He fell forward, shielding the dragons with his body, even as blood spilled from his mouth. One youngling pressed its head against his chest, whining softly. Arrows flew. A spell struck the ground near him, sending stone shards into his back. That was the moment something ancient inside the Empress broke. She did not roar. She screamed. The sound tore the battlefield apart. Soldiers dropped their weapons, clutching their ears as the sky itself fractured. Fire poured from her wings, not in mindless destruction, but in precise, furious judgment. Those who had tortured her younglings burned. Those who had ordered it vanished in light. When silence fell, the Empress stood before the boy. Cale forced his eyes open. He saw towering shadow, burning eyes, power beyond imagination. He smiled weakly. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I tried. I wasn't fast enough today." The Empress knelt. The ground cracked beneath her weight. Her claw hovered inches from his fragile body. She could feel his life slipping away. So small, so brief. And yet it had reached her when nothing else could. She touched his forehead. Memories flooded her mind. His mother's smile. His father's laugh. Cold nights alone. The moment he chose to stay with the dragons instead of saving himself. Not because he was brave, but because he could not live with leaving them. The Empress closed her eyes. For the first time in centuries, she wept. Her tears burned as they fell, healing the cracked earth. She gathered the dragon younglings, lifting them gently, and poured her essence into them. The curse resisted, tearing at her power, demanding a price. She paid it. Her immortality fractured. Her empire felt the shift. The younglings' scales brightened, wounds sealing, wings trembling with returning strength. Their cries changed from pain to relief. But Cale's heartbeat faded. "No," the Empress whispered. She pressed her palm to his chest, pouring what remained of her strength into the smallest life she had ever held. It hurt more than any wound she had known, because power given freely leaves nothing behind. Cale gasped. Air rushed into his lungs. His eyes flew open. He saw the Empress holding him, her face no longer furious, but unbearably tired. "You live," she said softly. Cale reached up with trembling fingers and touched her armor. "They're okay?" "They are," she answered. Days later, the war ended. Not with surrender. Not with conquest. With silence. The Empress withdrew her fleets. She dismantled the dragon forges. She issued a decree that echoed across worlds. No child would starve under her rule. No creature would be hunted for existing. Dragons would no longer be weapons. She offered Cale a place among the stars. He refused. "These ones need me," he said, sitting beside the younglings, who refused to leave his side. The Empress nodded. She understood. When she left, she did not roar. She did not burn the sky. She simply vanished. Years passed. Stories spread of a human who healed dragons. Of an Empress who changed. Of a universe that learned, slowly, painfully, that strength without compassion destroys itself. Cale grew older, never rich, never powerful. But he was never alone again. And far above, the Alien Empress watched. Not as a tyrant, but as a mother who finally remembered why she had fought in the first place.